Hey lovely, you okay? Oh, no. Oh, they're horrible. Come on, give us a hug. Hey. I'm really hot. Right, well, I know you're hot, but just a snuggle, just a hug. Or I've got this little friend. He's really good. He's better. If you want the blanket, just say. But you're probably a bit too warm right now, and you're a bit too panicky. This is Eel. Not that he needs any introduction, but his mane's got a bit tufty over the years. It's really cool because his tail detaches. You see? He's just a nice, snuggly, makes anything feel better. And you want to cuddle him? He really does help, I promise. He really does. I've also got my crystal lamp here. It is Himalayan salt, so it's meant to sort of give off calming vibes. Yeah. I've also got some crystals. Yeah, let's have a look. I know you're not quite into that, but in situations like this, it needs must, isn't it, really? So I've got these ones, which are just good for anxiety in general, and sort of warding off sort of negative energies. So they're quite, keep them close by. I have also got some rose quartz, which is perfect for like finding peace, about love, you know, all that sort of thing. So it just might make you feel a bit calmer as well. Yeah. And they're really pretty to look at as well, so, you know. Could just sit and hold them for a little while. Do you want to talk about it? It might help. It's horribly scary going through something like that. I had an experience the other day, and I was all on my own, and it's horrible. It's really horrible. So I know how it is to go through something like that. Yeah. Maybe tell me about it, and then we can rationalise it, and then it can help your head kind of confirm that it's not real, and we can maybe try and find like the root of why you were having a dream like that. Yeah. Let's have a think. How did it start? Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, that's not very nice. Yeah. Oh, you poor bean. That's horrible. Right, I feel like it's got to be mostly down to the fact that you've been really anxious lately. You know, you've been going through, there's a lot going on in the world, a lot of unsettling things right now. And I think you're just, I don't know, it's like your brain's trying to process it all. Yeah. At night time everything's much scarier anyway. But I think it must be down to your anxiety. And I mean, it's not like you've got anything coming up that's bothering you, is there? Yeah, I wouldn't have said that's enough though to warrant having a nightmare like that. That could be because you're scared of losing people. Yeah. Have you been watching anything scary recently? Because that could be a good trigger for it, can't it? Oh, okay. To be fair, it doesn't normally affect me either. I have like watching something scary to then dreaming about something scary. I don't tend to find it's more if you get up in the night. That's when it affects you more, I think, because it can be a bit like it's really dark and it's scary. But I don't tend to have nightmares about like to do with films I've seen. Not typically. That's weird. I wonder what so who was there? Right. Okay. And they were doing that. That's really weird. Okay. That's really bizarre because I don't know why. This is why you need to talk about it because it's kind of makes you think, well, those people would never be together anyway, would they? What a strange thing. And that person you don't ever remember meeting, but you've obviously seen their face at some point. And why would they be there together? Yeah. That's really strange. I've actually got this really interesting book that I'm reading right now, which is like The Interpretation of Dreams. It's by Freud. He actually talks a little bit about, I'm not far into it, as you can see, I've only read a little. As an example, one of his case studies, there was a woman who, she was in a hospital because she'd had jaw surgery or something. It's gross, sorry. Not to add to your trauma. God, sorry. She'd had something done to her jaw. So she was in hospital, but the surgery hadn't worked. Couldn't work. Whatever it was, they couldn't do what needed to be done. So she was having to wear a brace. And basically every morning she was waking up and the brace would be on the floor. And obviously the nurses and doctors were quite, you have to be wearing this. Stop taking it off, But she had no recollection of taking it off at all. So it was kind of a, she was telling the truth, but I don't think they really believed her. So she then recalled one night having a dream where she was at an opera or something like that. And while she was there was a gentleman who was complaining of like his jaw aching or something. So she was wearing the brace, and she said, "Oh well, I don't need this. You can wear it." She took it off and gave it to him. And after talking to Freud, she talked about her dream, he established that's why she was taking it off in her sleep unknowingly. It was because subconsciously she didn't want it, didn't need it. In her head it was like, oh, I don't need to wear it. So she was taking it off, but in her dream it was her giving it to someone, but that was her, And it's really bizarre. I mean, I tend to sleep with headphones in, like watching ASMR to fall asleep. And I know my mum for years has said, you shouldn't wear cables around your neck, when you're going to sleep, that's so stupid. I need to get some of the sleep ones. But I will wake up in the morning and my headphones will be neatly to the side of, next to my pillow or on my dresser next to my bed. And yet I would have gone to sleep wearing them and probably tossed and turned around about a bit. I used to get tangled in them. I wonder if it was triggered. It was one night where it was literally not really tight, but it was right the way around, and it was a bit of that's why you don't sleep with them around your neck. But I've recently, sort of the last, maybe the last month, I'll wake up, in the morning, and think, oh, where are my headphones? I'm expecting them to be tangled, or that I'm sleeping on them, they're under my back somewhere, and I'll turn my head and they'll literally be neatly to the side, and I have absolutely no recollection of doing it at all. So it's kind of this weird, how, I don't, also this difference is I don't really remember dreaming about anything, but chances are I did dream about something along those lines, but, you know, same sort of thing of taking them off, and, you know, they'll be unplugged from my phone and everything. Like, my phone will be off, unplugged, headphones neatly coiled away. But, sorry, I went on a tangent there completely. So what I'm saying is, like, your dreams are like metaphors for what's going on in your life at the moment and how you're really feeling about something. So, you know, you're talking about your friends or people that you know that you haven't seen for a long time, and the fact that it's a weird compilation of people together. Collectively, I think it's probably linked to you having not seen them for quite a long time. This book is really interesting, as I'm not far into it, but I could he talks about his own dreams. Maybe I could read this bit to you. Because it's quite interesting. Okay, because he talks about his own dream, like it documents it, and then he does his own analysis on it. Now, when I read the analysis, I had my own thoughts on it, because I felt a little bit like, I wouldn't have interpreted that way necessarily, but actually it's interesting to see. I think it's quite a subjective thing, really, to the individual. You know, it's all very well getting someone's opinion or doing a bit of research online, but at the end of the day, I think you can figure out things for yourself, like what that means, you know? I don't know. Anyway, let's read a little bit, shall we? So, dream of July the 23rd to the 24th, 1895. It's a long time ago. A great hall, a number of guests whom we are receiving. Among them Irma, whom I immediately take aside, as though to answer her letter and to reproach her for not yet accepting the solution. I say to her, "If you still have pains, it is really only your own fault." She answers, "If you only knew what pains I have now in the throat, stomach, and abdomen, I am choked by them." I am startled and look at her. She looks pale and puffy. I think that after all I must be overlooking some organic affection. I take her to the window and look into her throat. She offers some resistance to this, like a woman who has a set of false teeth. I think, surely, she doesn't need them. The mouth then opens wide, and I find a large white spot on the right, and elsewhere I see extensive greyish-white scabs adhering to curiously curled formations, which are evidently shaped like the terminal bones of the nose. I quickly call Dr. M, who repeats the examination and confirms it. Dr. M looks quite unlike his usual self. He is very pale, he limps, and his chin is clean-shaven. Now my friend Otto, too, is standing beside her, and my friend Leopold percusses her covered chest and says she has a dullness below, on the left, and also calls attention to an infiltrated portion of skin on the left shoulder, which I can feel in spite of the dress. M says, "There's no doubt that it's an infection, but it doesn't matter. Dysentery will follow and the poison will be eliminated. We know, too, precisely how the infection originated." So then he says, "This is the first dream which I subjected to an exhaustive interpretation. My friend Otto not long ago gave her, when she was feeling unwell, an injection of a preparation of propyl's propionic acid, trimethylamine, the formula of which I see before me, printed in heavy type. One doesn't give such injections so rashly. Probably, too, the syringe was not clean." This dream has an advantage over many others. It is at once obvious to what events of the preceding day it is related, and of what subject it treats. The preliminary statement explains these matters. The news of Irma's health, which I had received from Otto, and the clinical history which I was writing late into the night, had occupied my psychic activities, even during sleep. Nevertheless, no one who had read the preliminary report had knowledge of the content of the dream, could guess what the dream signified. Nor do I myself know. I am puzzled by the morbid symptoms of which Irma complains in the dream, for they are not the symptoms for which I treated her. I smile at the nonsensical idea of an injection of propionic acid, and at Dr. M.'s attempt at consolation, Towards the end of the dream seems more obscure and quicker in tempo than at the beginning. In order to learn the significance of all these details, I resolved to undertake an exhaustive analysis. The hall, a number of guests whom we are receiving. We were living that summer at Bellevue, an isolated house on one of the hills adjoining the Kahlenberg. This house was originally built as a place of entertainment, and therefore has unusually lofty, hall-like rooms. The dream was dreamed in Bellevue a few days before my wife's birthday. During the day, my wife had mentioned that she expected several friends, and among them Irma, to come to us as guests for her birthday. My dream then anticipates this situation. It is my wife's birthday, and we are receiving a number of people, among them Irma, as guests in the large ball of Bellevue. I reproach Irma for not having accepted the solution. I say, if you will have pains, it is really your own fault. I might even have said this while awake. I may have actually said it. At that time I was of the opinion recognised, later to be incorrect, that my task was limited to informing patients of the hidden meaning of their symptoms. Whether they then accept or did not accept the solution upon which success depended, for that I was not responsible. I am grateful to this error, which fortunately has now been overcome, since it made life easier for me at a time when, with all my unavoidable ignorance, I was expected to effect successful cures. So basically, it goes on for quite a few pages. Maybe we could talk about it a bit more another time, because it's a lot of detail. A lot more than I've read, sorry. For me, I think it's interesting how he relates the size of the room to where they're living and the fact that his wife's birthday is coming up. I personally, from other research I've done, bear in mind this is back in the late 1800s, I think maybe we've learned a lot more now as well, but I think it's really important actually, the actual venue, like environment in your dream, you know, I've had dreams before where I've been in a completely white room, like pristine white room, and there's like one window, piping for some reason. That was really significant. All white, but it was very definite piping, and then I won't tell you exactly, I don't want to scare you, but as in, I'm in this room and then something happens, and I think for me it was really significant, the fact that this room was so white, and there was one window. It wasn't very big and it was fairly high, not too high that I couldn't, say, climb out of it if I needed to, but it's like, what's the piping mean? What it was white floors, white walls, everything, so yeah, to me that was quite significant. I just feel that the size of the room is very significant to your dream, and there's a reason for it. So it is interesting, and maybe tomorrow, when you've slept a bit more, hopefully, and you sort of had time to sort of move on from it and not still be feeling in the moment, we can talk about it and actually try and sort of get to the root of it. I'm not going anywhere. I'll stay here and make sure that you're safe. But it's just hard in the moment to separate yourself from the fact that it is just a dream, okay? And you will be fine. And it's just being rational, and just not letting it consume you. It is scary. Just try and do something that tires you out. So maybe, I don't know, read a book, or just look at the detail on this light, for example, all the transient colours and the details, concaves in the rock and everything. You cooled down a bit now, yeah? Let's pop that over. Yeah. just snuggle with it. We can sit and look at the light together. They're lovely and bright, but not overpowering and overbearing. It's very heavy. Very, very heavy indeed. I'm trying to get some nice sounds for you. It's just so pretty, isn't it? How the colours fade through the whole thing. It's darker at the top and then nice warmth here. It's just lovely, but very heavy. Let's maybe look at some crystals. Let's bring them all together. I'll let you look after these ones. It helps you sleep better. Did you want to read some more of this? I can leave it with you if you'd like to. I've got a few dream analysis books. If you wanted to borrow any, just say. They're, I think they're two of them are Freud. One of them's just like a psychology analysis one. I've also got a psychology book on sleep. That really makes you tired. It's all about your sleep cycle, just how different people sleep, different experiments that have been done. I think it talks about dreams as well, and just like the history of sleep, and it's very interesting. But it does make you sleepy when you read it. It does make you quite tired. But that is what it is. That's why they're quite good if you've woken up in the night. I find dreams absolutely fascinating. Even when they're scary. I know it's not nice. I know it's not nice, but it's not, I just think you could learn a lot. An awful lot. I can't wait to read more about this one. it's got a contents page. So this one has got the scientific literature of dream problems up to 1900, the method of dream interpretation, the dream as a wish fulfillment, distortion in dreams, the material and sources of dreams, the dream work, and the psychology of the dream processes. That would be really interesting to get through, actually. What's that? Ooh. I look forward to reading that. Thing is that if you've woken up in the night, a storybook isn't necessarily the best thing, because you can, especially if it's quite an active book or exciting, like Harry Potter or something, you could find yourself reading for quite a long time, because it's going to sort of wake yourself up a bit, you get excited about it and get into the story. Obviously you would get tired after a while, but a book like this, or the other one I referred to, is probably better, because you'll only read a couple of books. It's quite a wordy book, it makes your brain think, and I think just naturally that tires you out more so, you get bored of the book, maybe. So it's quite handy to have one like this around. Okay. I hope that's made you feel a bit better. Okay. Hopefully we can get you back to sleep again. Hopefully. Okay. Alright. Just try and relax. Maybe let's try some breathing exercises. So just breathing in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then breathing out. 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. And again, just follow me. Try and breathe in good thoughts and blow out the bad ones. So, okay. Try and maintain that in and out flow, yeah? And just feel your heart rate come down. Okay. And just close your eyes. And lots of heavy blinks. And keep them shut for like 3 seconds at a time. And then open again, and then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you'll find yourself slowly drifting away